Woman in charge of specials stood where the water barely came up to her knees, and most of the specials went no further than that. Most of them. Look, I looked, and there was Verna, swimming clumsily toward us, towards the deeper water, wearing a pale blue rubber bathing cap, slapping at the water and smiling. I yelled at her to stop, but she seemed not to hear, or maybe she took it as encouragement. She has got the longest fingers I've ever seen. She could just twist them around your neck and strangle you. The motorboats on the lake were supposed to stay a good distance out from the shore so that the waves they created wouldn't disturb our swimming. On this last day, however, a couple of them started to race and circled close in, close enough to raise waves. The counselors shouted in dismay, but the boats were far too loud for the drivers to hear, and they had already sent a wave crashing towards the shore. Charlene and I both lost our footing. We had our backs to the counselors because we were watching Verna swim clumsily toward us. At the moment that we tumbled, Verna had pitched toward us. When we came out of the water, our arms flailing, faces streaming, Verna was spread out beneath the surface. There was screaming and shouting all around, so nobody noticed. Verna's head didn't break the surface because Charlene and I had our hands on her, on that rubber cap. This could have been an accident, as if we, in trying to regain our balance, had grabbed onto this nearby large rubber object, hardly knowing what it was or what we were doing. I have thought it all out. I think we would have been forgiven. Young children, terrified, confused. Is this in any way true? It is, in the sense that we did not decide anything. I mean, we did not look at each other and decide to do what we subsequently and consciously did. Consciously, because our eyes did meet as the head of Verna tried to rise to the surface of the water. Our hands may have slipped were it not for the raised pattern that made it less slippery. I can remember the color of her cap exactly, that pale, insipid blue, but I could never decipher the pattern whose ridges pushed into my palms. Charlene and I kept our eyes on each other then, rather than watching what our hands were doing. Her eyes were wide, gleeful, as I suppose mine were too. I don't think we felt wicked while triumphing in our wickedness. No, more as if we were doing what was demanded of us, as if this was the absolute high point, the culmination of our lives, of our being ourselves. The whole business probably took no more than 2 minutes, maybe 3. At some point, maybe at the trespass of the motorboats, or the cry of the counselors, or when the rubber object under our palms ceased to have a will of its own, the sun burst out, and more parents popped up on the beach, and there were calls to all of us to stop horsing around and get out of the water. Swimming was over. It was over. As I've said, my memory fails when it comes to parting with Charlene. It didn't matter. At that age, things ended. You just expected things to end. I'm certain we never said anything as unnecessary as "don't tell." I can imagine the unease starting, but not spreading quite so fast as if there hadn't been other competing dramas. One of the children has lost a sandal, one of the youngest children is screaming, and the anxiety running through this, that someone is missing. Who? One of the specials. The woman in charge of specials running around still in her bathing suit, her voice wild and weepy. Somebody go check in the forest, run up the trails and call her name. What was her name? Verna. The poor thing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some mild turbulence, but if you all just stay in your seats, everything will... Service with a smile. Service with a smile. Yes, sir.
Can I have the whole can of peanuts?
I could check anything.
Do you have kiwi, raspberry, pomegranate iced tea?
I'm not sure.
Ding!
Can I have 5 pills, please?
In just a...
Ding!
Who's in charge here?
Ding! What river's that?
Ding! When can I pee?
Ding! Where can I brush my teeth? Ding!
Why can't I have 17 blankets?
Ding!
Who, what, when, where, why not?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're oh so sorry. Our service is bad, but it could get worse. We lost your key, but we found your purse. At times we're late, but is that a crime? Doesn't really matter, it's only time. Wafty, we apologize for the inconvenience, but we're upping our standards. Up yours. Ding! The best way to get rid of a bad mood is to spread it around.
So we're going to take you on a journey from dumb questions.
To the secret language flight attendant share.
How does a flight attendant say screw you?
I'll be right back.
So raise your tray tables,
Stow your belongings
put your seat in the upright position.
and fasten your seatbelt.
The nightmare is about to begin.
Around the world in a bad mood.
By Renee Foss. Welcome aboard, sir! So glad you could join us today. Get you a gin and tonic? It would be my pleasure.
my ass. I don't want to make him a gin and tonic. Come to think of it, I don't want to make anyone a gin and tonic. Except maybe myself. Actually, that sounds pretty good right now.
Here you go, sir. You couldn't find a room for your carry-on, and you need someone to get it out of your way.
And I guess I'm that lucky someone. Geez, what has he got in there? A dead body? If that 6 foot, 200-pound bruiser over there can't lift it, how does he possibly think 5'4", 110 pound, all right, 120 pounds, me to lift it? If I hold this position much longer, my shoulder's gonna pop right out of its socket.
You know, sir, I think this bag is a little too big for the... Now, sir, there's no need for profanity. I'm sure we can...
Yeah, he's pissed.
Oh, sir, thank you for helping me with your bag. I'm so glad we didn't have to check it.
I'm just standing here, doing my job. What do I get for all my hard troubles?
Oh, get you another gin and tonic? I'd be happy to. I'll be right back.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
Hello?
Is this thing on?
Oh, for the love
Okay. Welcome aboard.
We apologize for the inconvenience airline, also known as Lofty. This is flight 50502.
Today, we will be traveling to...
Well, we'll figure that out
don't
when we
really
get
care.
there. Today's flight is under the command of Captain Booze.
Assisted by First Officer Chance. And as we like to say here at Wafty,
If Booze and Chance can't get you there, nothing can. Moving
I
on.
hate my life.
Yes.
We will be your senior indentured servants for this flight.
Once airborne, if we should ever live to see the day, we will not be showing a movie on the flight. Thank God.
We're short 2 flight attendants.
55 meals and 1 good engine. In the meantime, please remember
That to be human is to know pain and suffering.
and to be prisoner
I mean passenger here on Wafty.
is to know rage.
Don't forget.
Flight attendants are on board to save your ass,
Not kiss it.
As we begin the meal service,
We would like to remind you that flight attendants
much like waiters,
are the last people to touch your food before you consume it.
Bon appetit! Hello! Would you like the almond roca or the brownie?
What?
Would you like the almond roca or the brownie?
What?
You could probably hear me a lot better if you take those headphones off.
Oh.
Would you like the almond roca or the brownie?
Do you have peanuts?
No.
How about a Diet Coke?
You can get that on the drink cart behind me.
What's that?
It's a cart with drinks on it.
That pink thing in your hand. What is it?
It's the almond roca.
Well, what's an almond rocks? Anyway.
It's a fine butter toffee elegantly wrapped in gold foil. Now, do you want one or not?
Nah. No thanks.
Fine. Bye-bye. Service with a smile. Hello! Would you like the almond roca or the brownie?
Listen, me and my husband were separated.
Yeah, well, nothing lasts forever.
No, I mean we weren't seated together. And when I bought these tickets 6 months ago, we were promised 2 seats together. And I want you to do something about it right now.
Well, ma'am, there's not much I can do about it right now.
No!
But as soon as I'm...
You're gonna do something about it right now. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you?
1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, there seems to be a passenger on board who doesn't know who she is. If anyone can identify her, please ring your flight attendant call button. Thank you. I can't believe this is so... Hello! Would you like the almond roca or the brownie?
I'll take the almond brownie, please.
I'll be right back.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're oh so sorry. Our service is bad, but it could get worse. We lost your kid, but we found your purse. Our food is bad, but we're not to blame. Try another airline, it's all the same. So, thank you for flying. We're so glad you arrived. If you want to get there sooner, then why don't you drive? Ding! Thank you.
5 months ago, when I was placed in the prose and poetry category, I had no idea as to what this category, or speech in general, was all about. As a freshman and new member of the speech team, I was a little hesitant to find that I would be reading stories and poetry. Not exactly what your average teenage boy would find to be cool or exciting. For those of you that don't know what prose is all about, it consists of interpreting a story and reading some related poems. For the most part, we aren't allowed to move our feet during the performance, so we have to make up for that with some exaggerated hand gestures. The thing that makes this category unique is that we get to cheat a little bit. We have to read our speech out of a little black binder. This category takes some heat for that, but it requires just as much talent as everything else. You guys are lucky enough to see what prose poetry is all about tonight. I hope you enjoy.
Original oratory and oratorical interpretation are both speaking categories during which you give the same 10-minute speech the whole year. In original, you write your own speech from scratch, focusing on a theme that is meaningful to you, whereas in oratorical, you choose a speech that someone else has already written. In both categories, you employ the use of crosses to differentiate or break up the content. Throw in a few meaningful hand gestures, and continue to practice, polish, and perfect delivery throughout the year. These categories, with a focus on such formal speaking, represent speech in its purest form. Thank you.
Panic stricken. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. And when I wave, oh, I lose the time I save. I run and I hop. There's a danger if I dare to stop. And here's the reason why. I'm overdue, I'm a rabbit stew. I can't even say goodbye. Hello, I'm late. Oh, I'm late. It's safe to conclude the following. He's late. And Walt Disney employs the art of alliteration. And now, going from imagination to real life, from the novel I Love Everybody and Other Atrocious Lies, is Chapter 7, Not in My Lifetime. Laurie, it's Nana. Nana, are you there? Laurie, no, oh no. Laurie, I need help. Oh God, oh no. I was freaked out, and as I tried to dial Nana's number, my hands were shaking so badly that I missed several digits and had to redial, only to get a busy signal. Nana doesn't have call waiting, because if she can't even remotely handle talking into a telephone accessory belonging to someone else, you can imagine the damage that she inflicted when trying to operate one of her own. Beep. With Nana's phone line busy for 7 minutes, I grabbed my car keys and I headed out to the freeway. I panicked the whole way there, but nothing prepared me for the horror I found when Nana was pale, shaking, clutching the remote control in her hand, met me at the door. I was just sitting here watching television about New Orleans just having a big earthquake, and all of a sudden I heard a noise outside. At first, I thought it was part of the story. People running and blood all over the place. And Lori, I tell you, no one was doing anything. The only person doing anything was James Garner. Upon first hearing this news, my blood pressure shot up. But then I remembered who I was talking to. Nana, when New Orleans had the earthquake on TV, did you see Tom Brokaw or did you just see James Garner? What the hell would Tom Brokaw be doing in New Orleans? I'm sure he was on the news last night. You were watching CNN? CNN? I don't know what you're talking about. Lifetime television? It's television for women. I can't get it anymore. Help me get it back. Help me. It's been 15 minutes and who knows what's going on by now in New Orleans. Oh, I tried to turn the TV on after the electricity came back, but all I get is this darn fuzzy stuff. It's gone. All of it's gone. Now I'll never know what happened to Mardi Gras party or if the mayor told James Garner he's sorry. Oh, Nana, just switch it to channel 4. Oh, thank God. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought if my TV didn't come back on, I'd have to go to your mother's. But that doesn't work because all she watches is that QVC, and I can't stand that show. If I want to buy a blender, no one is going to put a stopwatch next to it and yell every 5 seconds that my time is running out. Or when they call, talking about their new stretch pads. Oh, Kathy, I love my Bob Mackie stretch pads. What makes someone do that? I don't know. Maybe her Lifetime TV went out too? Thank you.
Watch Your Language by Nicole Kreisberg. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? If you won the lottery, what would you do? And if you could live in any historical period, when would you choose and why? Silly, yet probing questions such as these are a great way to get to know people. So in order to get ready for these little talks with new acquaintances, I've prepared some answers. My tree would be poplar. I'd start a charity to roof the houses of less fortunate Ecuadorians. And if I could live in any historical period, I would choose the early 1980s, when rap was born on the streets of New York City. I would rock the Adidas with Run DMC, learn to beatbox with the Fat Boys, and with my entire rap community, I would begin to use words that meant something totally different, if not the exact opposite, what they originally meant. Bad would mean good. Dope would mean good-er. And hype would mean even gooder than that. It was a slang renaissance, and I wanted to be a part of it. But when I first responded to the historical period question with my 1980s rap answer, the response I received was, "That was so gay." And slang, all of a sudden, became a lot less appealing. As our generations and subcultures continually intertwine, our languages and ideas will constantly evolve. And we cannot stop the formation of new words and slang, nor should we, because that would be whack. But individually, we can keep offensive words from entering our own conversations. In the newly instituted NBA dress code, Tim Duncan, two-time league MVP, college graduate, and an all-around good guy, said that it's basically retarded. Now Timmy, I call him Timmy, Timmy's statement is an example of how even well-educated students can sometimes slip when it comes to our language. But whether or not there's a microphone in front of our face, we can all be aware of the choices we make when we speak. Socially, we need to refuse to accept these choices from others. And when the Academy Awards honors a song requesting sympathy for pimps, what I call pimpathy, we need to remember that a pimp is a man who sells women's bodies for sex. We need to understand that no matter how hard life out here is for a pimp, as syndicated columnist Aretha Williams writes, the real victims are the women and children around the world who are being sexually exploited. We must question the success of songs like these, and more importantly, words like these, that take the side of the oppressors and demoralize their victims. And when Tim Duncan refers to the NBA dress code as retarded, we need to act with the same courage as the students who once rose with their hero with an open letter. They wrote, "As students with disabilities, we believe that being retarded is not bad, and bad things are not retarded. We feel that you are not the only one who's retarded in a hurtful way. But by giving a chance, we can help teach people a better way." In this short editorial, these students have helped us realize, all of us, you and I, and even millionaire athletes, that we have the power to shape our language, our world, and lead us to true progress. Unlike the progress I made towards sharing my inner self, which is to say none at all, I've realized some things. Poplar trees won't make you popular. The Ecuadorians really do need our help. And the hip-hop community of the early 1980s wasn't quite the utopia I once thought it was. Turns out, they sometimes misuse words in a negative way, much like we continue to do today, which is bad, and that does not mean good. But fortunately, like Vanilla Ice, our negative words can quickly disappear if we only stop, collaborate, and listen. Really listen to ourselves, to those around us. We can kick the negativity of our language to the curb, and that would be dope. Thank you.
The 2009-2010 season has been witness to a boom in debate. We had 3 returning debaters, 5 new competitors, and we restarted the category of Lincoln Douglas debate. In our district, we compete in public forum and Lincoln Douglas debate. Public forum, which you will see shortly, consists of teams of 2 arguing current topics such as the war in Afghanistan and political lobbying. The debate is based on evidence, presentation, and argument. Lincoln Douglas consists of 2 competitors arguing topics with philosophic and ethical undertones. The debate prioritizes logic and philosophy over evidence and statistics. In debate, not only does one have to speak well, but also be persuasive, argumentative, and be prepared to argue both sides of the topic. In these head-to-head situations, anything can happen, and you never know what your opponent will bring up next. Public forum debaters change topics each month, and today you will see an abbreviated round focusing on an issue all of us can relate to. My fellow teammates Taylor Marconi, Michael Stash, Max Jacobs, and Jordan Stefko will be debating Resolved. Cardinal Mooney High School should provide more financial aid. Thank you.
California Congressman Joe Baca said it best when he stated, "I know the impact that faith-based education can have on our society and have witnessed it firsthand in my district." With these words in mind, my partner and I affirm today's resolution, which states, resolved, that Cardinal Mooney High School should provide more financial aid. Contention 1. More financial aid would increase student diversity, which research shows enhances student achievement. According to Jeffrey Mellum and Mitchell Chang in their study, Making Diversity Work on Campus, a research-based perspective, the active pursuit of racial and economic diversity in the classroom advances the student achievement in both the minority and the majority. And according to the privateschoolreview.com, only 14% of the Mooney student body is of an ethnic minority. Mooney boasts 98% of its 2009 class of seniors is pursuing a college degree. However, only 25% of the students in Mooney zip code 44507 have any type of post-secondary training. Increasing financial aid will increase the student diversity, enhance the learning environment, and contribute to an uplift of the community that the school is situated within. Contention 2. The recent economic affects the members of the Mooney students, families, and puts enrollment in jeopardy. This is why financial aid is essential. According to the Wall Street Journal, the United States has lost 3.6 million jobs since the beginning of the economic recession. Inadvertently, this affects the Mooney students and the Mooney family and must be addressed. For these two main contentions, this is why my partner and I urge an affirmative ballot. Thank you.
Thomas Jefferson stated, "Never spend your money before you have earned it." Because these words hold true today, my partner and I must negate the following resolution. The Cardinal Mooney High School should provide more financial aid. My first contention holds that financial aid is superfluous because there are sufficient programs already in place. The Cardinal Mooney website boasts that over 55% of the student body receives a form or grant of scholarship to attend school. And for the 2008-2009 operating year, over $400,000 in tuition assistance had been awarded. These numbers prove that more financial aid is not necessary. Additionally, there are programs and grants that can be sought outside of Mooney's operating budget that can increase financial aid for economically disadvantaged students. One of these programs is Ohio's Ed Choice program that acts as a voucher to allow students in Youngstown School District to attend Mooney with state scholarship money. Programs such as these eliminate the need for more financial aid to be provided. My second contention states that requiring more financial aid will simply burden the student body. The only way to provide more financial aid would be to bring in more money or to cut costs, and neither option is favorable. Financial aid, like money, does not grow on trees, and the student body already participates in the calendar drive and spring raffle. Should every student be forced to fundraise more for the benefit of a few? The only other option would be to cut costs, but where from? Negating this resolution is the only way to guarantee the stability of our school in an unstable economy. Thank you, and I am now open for cross-examination.
I have had the immense pleasure of being with my teammates for 3 years, and this year's team has been very dynamic. And I found that over the years, each year's team has a different flavor. Ours was quite tasty, actually. We have had people on our team for 4 years, veterans who have poured their hearts and souls into our team. I personally, and many people like me, have been on the team for 3 years, very dedicated still. Our second year people have just gotten to the groove of things and are really starting to establish themselves. And then we have our first years, who, though they may have come late in the season or who are just starting out, have finally gotten that experience of speech that we are so privileged to have.